We are face to face with the gospel of reversals. Tumbalik ang daigdig ng Ebanghelyo. The poor will be rich, the suffering will rejoice, and those who suffer now and are sorrowful will be rejoicing. The gospel of reversals, it's a call to salvation, and this is what Isaiah in his hopeful language is talking about in the first reading. Rejoice with me, O Jerusalem. Isaiah was talking to a people who knew what it was to be thrown into exile. Isaiah was talking to a people who knew what it was to suffer, victims of powerful empires, Assyria, Babylonia, Egypt. But Isaiah talks about a future with God, not a present with evil people, not a present filled with pain, but a future that speaks of hope. Rejoice with Jerusalem. He talks about prosperity over Jerusalem that will flow like a river. Isaiah talks of hope. Isaiah talks of comfort. Isaiah points to what we all long for, and that is heaven. But then, before we get carried away by delusions, St. Paul in the letter to the Galatians talks about what it means. He talks about the passport to glory. He talks about the passport to hope. He talks about the way for us to reach that desired outcome. And he was talking about the cross. And St. Paul, in his poetic fashion, who knew what he was talking about, he said, I boast of nothing more, nothing less, and nothing else but the cross. If I were allowed to boast, then let me boast, not about my talent, not about my intelligence, not about the fact that I can compete with anybody in terms of advancing himself in society. He was a Roman citizen. He spoke the language of the Romans. He spoke Aramaic. He spoke Hebrew. He spoke several languages. He was a very capable man. In Italian, they have a very interesting figure of speech, molto in gamba. A man who was very much on his toes. But then he was boasting not of anything worldly, but he boasts about slavery to Christ. And that is the way to glory. He boasted about the cross. In the gospel, we are told about 72 disciples who were sent 2 by 2. And they were warned about priorities. And they were saying, the Lord was telling them, go on your way. Behold, I am sending you like lambs among wolves. This is not an outbound trip. This is not an excursion. This is not rest and recreation. This is not a good time in Tanay, in Tagaytay, or Boracay. This is work, and hard work, I must say. I am sending you like lambs among wolves. This is discipleship. And then he told them again to look at their priorities. Carry no money bag, no sack, no sandals. And greet no one along the way. Don't be distracted. Into whatever house you enter, first say, peace be to this household. You talk about priorities. You don't talk about, may pagkain ba dyan? May mahita ba ako dyan? Ano meron dyan? May ayuda ba? May akap? May pabuya ba? No. He came there with a mission. And entering the house, he brings the gift par excellence. A gift that can only come from God and not from your talents, treasure, or whatever else you have. Peace to this household. But then there is a responsibility. You know, peace is not something that is given on a silver platter without you having to pay a price. You'll have to accept it. You will have to receive it. You will have to welcome the peace giver. You will have to give welcome to the disciples. And if a peaceful person lives there, your peace will rest on him. And now I'll be talking about difficult matters. You know, the Mass is a gathering of hopeful people. It's a gathering of people who have faith, a gathering of people who are convinced that we are all called to holiness and to fullness of life and to salvation, earthly and heavenly salvation. But it is not all sugar and spice and everything nice. If salvation were just something to be granted unilaterally from above without you making any effort and any response, then what does this mean? If a peaceful person lives there, your peace will rest on him. But if that person who lives in that house is looking for other things besides, and not the priority, and not the one and only gift that we all, men and women of faith, should be aiming after, then your peace will not rest. It will return to you. Then the Lord again reminded disciples about priorities. Stay in the same house and eat and drink what is offered to you. It's not like, wala bang steak, wala bang imported na pagkain, wala pang galing Rustans, wala bang galing SNR, and so on. The disciple accepts what is being offered, for the laborer deserves his payment. Do not move about from one house to another. O mas malaki ang ayuda sa Pampanga, doon na lang tayo. Merong libreng universidad sa Taguig, lipat tayo sa Taguig. Wala sa Parañaque, wala sa Las Piñas. And so gagawa ka ng fake address sa Taguig o sa ibang lugar. Sa Makati, favorite ng lahat Makati, Yumak. Do not move about from one house to another. I'm not talking about legitimate needs. I'm talking about priorities. You know, hindi po masama mag-asam. Kung tayo hindi nag-aasam na magkaroon ng college degree, tamad ka. God doesn't want you to remain ignorant. Kung hindi tayo nag-aasam na makaangat-angat sa buhay, then you don't understand what the gospel is. I came that you might have life and have it to the full. And therefore, it is legitimate to seek for more. But seeking for more doesn't mean seeking for it like as if it were the most important and only thing. And therefore, the question for us this morning is, what do we look for? Do we look only for that bag, money bag? Do we look only for that sack? Do we look only for that signature pair of shoes? Sandals, money bag, sack? Do you go to households because of what you can get and not what you can give, and you bring nothing, not even peace from heaven? If you look only for what is measurable, what is countable, yung lahat ng nabibilang at nasusukat na natitimbang, I have bad news for you. We will always fall short. Bakit? Wala pa ako nakitang mayaman na masaya sa yaman nila. They want more. I have never seen the likes of Putin who is happy with the Federated States of Russia. He wants the Ukraine. And after Ukraine, he wants Poland. And he wants Latvia. He wants Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and all the rest of the former Soviet Empire. Do you think that Chinese Communist Party will settle for nothing short of Lake Baikal, what they call Vladivostok right now? It used to be Manchuria. They want it back. I have never seen anyone who has everything going for him or her who is say, tama na to, masaya na ako dito. No, we want more. We want the whole country. A mayor who became mayor wants also to be president, nabulungan kaya natalo. Paghambingin ninyo ang mayor, yung Yorme ang tawag at yung mayor sa Pasig, magkaibang magkaiba. There is something wrong with somebody who wants more at hindi masaya. Yung isa sabi niya, din ako tatakbo after my 3 terms. Because his aim is not more, not money bag, not sack or sandals. His aim is to serve. And this brings us to where we are at. Where we are at is we live in a sinful world. You and me. I'm not an exception to the rottenness of humanity, because we're all sons and daughters of Adam and Eve. We all want to have an MA. I have that. We all want a PhD. I have that too. But if that's the only thing I want, I'll be miserable. If that's the only thing I want, then I am for nothing. Because if that's the only thing I want, then I'm looking for bags and money and sack or sandals. And I have no peace because I always fall short. The reality is this is the only time in my 42 years as a priest when I hear the confessions of young people saying, I am depressed because my life is not like my friend's life in Facebook. May nakita ba kayong buhay na miserable sa Facebook? Wala. Lahat may 20 at Starbucks. Lahat nakapost ang kinain nila sa Starbucks. Wala akong nakitang batang miserable sa Facebook. And the reality is that people now get depressed because they don't live the lives of their peers. And they have better times and better coffee and better places to go to. And I can only go to the canteen and not to McDonald's and not to Jollibee. We are miserable and we are sinners. But the reason why you and I are here in this morning's Mass is because we acknowledge our need for the more and the ultimate. We started out by saying, Confiteor Deo Omnipotenti. I confess to Almighty God, because I've sinned grievously, in thought, in word, and deed, grievously. And all of us know our place. And where we are at is a world of greed. Tingnan niyo mga politiko natin, hindi na sila hihirap. Sa aking probinsya, nagplano ng mga bypass road. Sino may-ari ng Shakey's, sino may-ari ng Jollibee, sino may-ari ng mga mamahaling restaurant doon sa daan na ginawa nila. Guess it. The family dynasties. The political dynasties. Sila lang yung mayaman at sila lang ang nagtatamasa. A reminder for us, we are here because we all want the same. We all want more. That's legitimate. But if that's the only thing we're looking for, then it's not legit. What you aim for, what you look for, will always fall short, because that is not what God has made us for. Isaiah talked about comfort and hope. Rejoice with me, O Jerusalem. But then you who are of my age bracket, you know what it means. You cannot eat whatever you like. You cannot eat longganisa every morning, every day, 365 days a year. You want that. Who says he doesn't want good food? All of us want good food, but we also want something better. We want better health. We want to live longer. We want to take care of our well-being. And therefore we say no so that we can say yes to something better. We say no because we want to have a better goal, a better target, one that gives life and life in its fullness. Today we are told about what this way to fullness is all about. It's about discipleship. And discipleship means I have to say no so that I can say yes. And discipleship means I have to say no to spending hours and hours in Netflix because I have to teach catechism in the public schools. I have to say no to TikTok because I need to give a talk and teach young people in the public schools. I have to say no to cholesterol because I want more than just cholesterol. I want a life in its fullness. I have to say no to legitimate things because there is something better and higher and nobler. Chitius, Altius, Fortius, that's the motto of the Olympics. Faster, higher, stronger. And what do you do in order to get the Chitius, the Altius, and the Fortius? You've got to stop eating carbs and eat protein, but not too much because you destroy your liver and kidneys. You give up on things because you have a better goal. And discipleship is this all about. So, after the 72 told what they were, or did what they were told, yumabang. Success went into their heads. And so they reported to the Lord, Lord, even the demons are subject to us. Ang saya. Sumunod ang mga demonyo sa amin because of your name. Hello, you're not the Messiah. You're not the Savior. You were sent. And Jesus said, I have observed Satan fall like lightning from the sky. Yes, you are right. But tell me, but listen, it didn't come from you. I have given you the power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and upon the full force of the enemy, and nothing will harm you. Anong pinagyayabang mo? St. Paul said, what do I have that I have not received? What do I have that I have not received? What does Xi Jinping have that was not taken from somebody else? And he wants to control the whole world, and Putin wants to replace Soviet Union. And people want to be president forever, and they want to be mayors and governors. Yung asawa, yung pamangkin, yung inangkin, at lahat ng buong pamilya. Bata pa ako, meron ng anti-flood control. Pag nanonood kami ng sine sa Avenida Rizal, those of you who are my age bracket would know what that is. Sine Odeon, Sine Ideal at tawag namin, Ideal. And Roman Super Cinerama. May dagdag na 25 centimos para sa anti-flood. Nalutas ba ang floods? Hindi, lumalala pa nga eh. Bakit? Kasi they didn't go to the household to bring peace. They went there to grab. What can I get? What more can I have? What more power do I need to have? And therefore the floods are worse. It became real estate. You look at the picture of Metro Manila in the 1950s, ang daming mga esteros, mga lagusan ng tubig, ngayon wala nang natitira. Naging real estate, Provident Village. Kaya nagbaha ang undoy. Wala nang lagusan ng tubig. We are a sinful people. And we are part and parcel of this community. And sometimes success goes into our head. Lord, even the demons are subject to us. Palakpakan natin ang Panginoon. Sabi na, palakpakan natin ating sarili. And the Lord said, and this is for me and for you, do not rejoice because the spirits are subject to you, but rejoice because your names are written in heaven.